Joe, when Jason checked out, you gave him a little bit of a hug there. What did that moment mean for you to see Tatum come back and kind of play the way he did?
Yeah, I think it just, outside of basketball, I think it just means a lot, just as a person, and just our relationship. When you care about somebody and you see them go through something, you want to be able to see, like Jack said before, the fruits of that labor. So it's just a credit to his work ethic and the people around him, but also to the team. I think, it was a good opportunity for us to come together as a team, be there for a teammate, have a teammate, make the team better, and that. So, and for me personally, just grateful to be a part of someone else's story. I mean, we got a bunch of guys in that locker room that all have their own journey, on their own story. Grateful that they allowed me to be a part of that, and this being a part of JT's story is, just kind of where we're at now.
Joe, he missed those, I think, first 6 shots, obviously the dunk that he didn't have, and then obviously found it later on in the game. Just kind of, what did you see those first shots, and then how do you think he recovered and sort of started seeing the ball going?
Yeah, I mean, when he was 100% healthy, he's missed 6 shots in a row before, so I don't think that really mattered. What I liked is just his approach and continued to rebound. Thought he competed on the defensive end, gave up a free throw rebound, which we got to get better at. But I think just the process and the mindset that he played with. There were good shots. So you take him again, competed defensively. I think he had 3 assists, 2 rebounds before he even took his first shot. So I think just the playmaking, but just a steady balance, of the things, of the process, of what we need to do to win. And I thought he attacked that, well tonight.
Joe, obviously, sort of on that theme of reaping the rewards of the hard work, we don't get to see what happens behind the scenes. We hear about it. We can watch the basketball on the court, but obviously, scored the ball, rebounded, assists, what on the court did you notice that you were like, okay, this was a product of the work he put to get to this point that maybe we wouldn't have seen just from, the stats and what exactly?
Nothing really. I think, I don't know. He looked relatively good conditioning. I don't know how he felt, but I thought his conditioning was kind of better than I thought it was going to be for, especially at the pace that I thought we played with tonight. So I didn't really know what to expect from a conditioning standpoint because you can't really simulate that. But other than that, I think it's just, I like just I thought he played with a free mind. I thought he played with a sense of gratitude, a sense of perspective. I thought he played with a sense of freedom of, I'm here, I've accepted this, I'm grateful for this, and how can I continue to grow and get better, but also be myself. I think, we cannot have a lesser version of him. And so I thought it was kind of saw a good balance.
Hi, Joe. We came from Portugal. I understand that tonight is Tatum's night, but we want to talk a little bit about Nemias and how important he's being for Celtics. And what do you think about him, and how important is he right now? And how do you look for the capacity to grow and keep growing?
Are you also a Benfica fan?
No, I'm not. Normally I cover basketball, so yeah.
Just making sure. I think Nemi's been great for us. I think, again, being a part of someone's story, I think when he got here 3-4 years ago, just watching the patience in with which he chipped away at the earning a career in the NBA, starting as a G League and then here being a third string center, then being a backup center, playing in back-to-backs and helping us win games, and then, how he kind of attacked, even playing in FIBA this summer. I thought he had a different approach to it. And then just his growth, I think, the evolution of his game, but also the evolution of his mindset on taking on the ownership and the responsibility of what it means to be the starting center for the Celtics. He takes a lot of pride in that, but takes a lot of ownership in that. So he's just a good guy too. So I think he is a Benfica fan though.
Three final questions: David, Noah, and then Jerry.
To your left, Joe. You spoke before the game about vulnerability, and pro athletes have to live their lives in public, and they also have to live their failures in public and their injuries in public. And I just wonder what that's like to have to kind of not know for sure, or not know when, or not know if you're going to come back and be the same guy you were.
Yeah, I think you have to ask. I don't want to answer that for JT because I think he's been. I don't even. I want him to be able to answer that. But for me personally, to be around people, that go through those things, I think that's why you coach. I think, you know, at the end of the day, you know, wins and losses, you don't really care. Like, you're in it to you know, go after stuff together with people and to be a part of someone else's story and someone to be a part of yours, right? And I think, you know, and you have a different relationship with every different guy, and different things are important to different guys, you know. And so I think, you know, if at the end of the day you have a bunch of wins, but you don't have, you know, the relationship with the guys, then, you know, it's pretty empty, you know. So I think that's, you know, I hope you asked JT that answer. You know, I think he's great at articulating that. But for me, it's just the gratitude of being alongside the guys and building different relationships with them and having that.
No.
Joe, you said that you saw Jason play with a sense of gratitude and freedom. What does that mean? Like, when could you actually pick that up? Was it certain things in his body language?
It wasn't just tonight. I think it was throughout the whole year. I think it was throughout the entire year, you know. And I thought, you know, you just see even the way he approached his workouts, you know, approaching that. I think he gave you know, we had a team meeting yesterday. He gave a great, you know, he talked a little bit, and just the way that he talked, you know, to his teammates, about his teammates. You know, I just think it was, you know, he came on the other side of this a better person, and I know he'll become a better player, and that's all you could ask for.
Joe, back when JT got hurt last year, knowing that there was going to be a lot of change to this roster, there was just so much uncertainty for your team. When you look back at just how this last year has gone, how do you feel about just the way this franchise has kind of found a new identity, yet kind of continued to maintain what it's been doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the strength of the franchise. I mean, they were really good before we all got here, and they're going to be a lot better once we're gone. So I think that's, you know, a lot of it just has to do with the Celtics and the organizational alignment, the city, the tradition. You know, we're good because the people before us made it a standard that we had to be able to you know, live up to on a daily basis. So I think a lot of it has to do with that. And I think the second piece, you know, has to do with the competitive character of the locker room. You have a group of guys that just care about winning, care about each other. And, you know, as long as, you know, we continue to understand that those two things are the most important thing, we'll get through seasons, you know, and all that other stuff. So I think it's really just, you know, kind of that simple.
Joe Mazzulla there saying Jason Tatum, he thought his conditioning was better than he thought it was. Speaking of conditioning, let's get to the time for the Ford Tough
get it out.
game presented by Ford Trucks, the best-selling trucks for 49 years, built Ford Tough. How about Nimi there? Wait for the other end. Namish Keita getting the block, but this is also in the fourth quarter. Boom. Nini, 16 and 15 here tonight. It was fun. It was fun here at the TD Garden seeing Jason Tatum back with his crew and Namish Keita also contributing the way he needed to. Tonight after Postgame Live, you can catch another edition of the Celtics Post Up. Chris and I, we take a look at the lighter side of the seas, the overall NBA. It's presented by Easton Propane and Oil. They're in your neighborhood. When we come back, Tom Giles is taking over. I'm going to go get ready for Post Up with Chris. And Scal's going to dish out the Tom.
What do you got to do to get ready?
It's an after party. It's like a pregame. What do you do for the pregame? Got a hair and makeup? We'll be right back.
I don't look like you.
Oh, my God.
Monday at 10 p.m., catch another edition of Town Fair Tire BST with Felger and Holly as Mike Felger and Michael Holly give their takes on the biggest sports stories of the day. Let's take a look at the Eastern Conference standings. Celtics at 42-21, 4 games back of Detroit. Knicks did not play tonight, so they are now 2 games behind Boston. But you see, right behind New York, you got the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Knicks are playing right now. So they will have a result by the end of the night. The Cleveland Cavaliers, though, right behind them, and that is who the Celtics have coming up on Sunday. Before we get to that, let's check out the drain of the game brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when the drains don't want to flow. And it is Jason Tatum with the contested 3. Again, 15 points for Tatum in his return to go along with 12 rebounds and 7 assists. And the Celtics get the win, 120-100. Back here on Celtics Postgame Plus as we turn the page and look ahead to Sunday against Cleveland, Eddie. Cavaliers, again, adding James Harden.
Yep.
They also have some of this massive rest advantage where they haven't played since earlier this week and won't play again until Sunday against the Celtics. But that'll be a different Cleveland team than what the Celtics have seen, and also a team that also thinks that they should be in the mix for the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, they definitely do. They are a different team with James Harden. The way he, their look is totally different. Darius Garland was compromised on the defensive end at times. James Harden's a bigger body. James Harden makes everywhere he's been, all the bigs get better. Jared Allen, think about what Jared Allen's been doing since James Harden got there. He's been balling out, and that's exactly a direct effect from James Harden. Evan Mobley is going to be better because of James Harden. And then Donovan Mitchell doesn't have to dominate the ball. He doesn't have to have the ball in his hands all the time. And the facilitator that James Harden is, I believe he's third in assists right now in the league. The way that he can facilitate, the way he can score, to me, that makes them a real tough and dangerous team, because this is a total different team. It's not anything like we've seen earlier this season.
All right, again, that's an early start on Sunday, and it starts what's a tough road trip. Like, you got that game. Tuesday they go to San Antonio. Thursday to Oklahoma City. Every game matters at this point. And with Jason Tatum too, we'll keep an eye on it, see if he plays on Sunday. Again, you got 36 hours, a little more than that, to recover from this one. But look sharp in his debut.
Yeah, he did. This is going to be a hell of a test.
Okay, we'll see what the Celtics do. We'll have our pregame live presented by TD starting at 12:30 with our coverage. Stay with us after the game. We'll have highlights and player and coach reaction on Celtics postgame live presented by your New England Ford dealers. And remember, you can stream all of our Celtics coverage on the NBC Sports app and NBCSportsBoston.com. The Celtics live stream is brought to you by your New England Cadillac dealers, the official luxury vehicle of the Boston Celtics. All right, so 120-100, your final score. Celtics move to 42-21. Now 21 games above 500 with a big 3-game road trip coming up.
Would you have thought that at the beginning of the season?
No, I mean,
I don't think anybody except the guys in the locker room.
And they played it out. They look good. Jason Tatum looked good in his debut.
Yes,
Garden was rocking. You know what's rocking next?
What's that?
Celtics post up.
Let's get it.